Today we're gonna work some on a Mustang. I have two things I'm gonna do today. One of those is an easy thing. I'm gonna change the air filter. In this case, I'm gonna change to a K&N sport filter, and there is some claims that this should increase your performance and increase your horsepower. That is kind of like widely debated. I don't know. It kind of made sense. If you get colder air, better airflow, you kind of get a performance. So it's gonna be interesting to see if I will notice any performance gain from this filter. Either way, it's about time to get the old filter out and get something new on. So I thought I could just put this on. And I was thinking about making a cold air intake, but I came to the conclusion that the air intake on this Mustang is in some ways a cold air intake, or like at least how a cold air intake would look with the piping and stuff like that. It's not isolated around, so it's not like an all-out cold air intake, because in order to have a cold air intake, it needs to be isolated from the other engine, so there's only cold air reaching the filter. So let's go into closer, and I'm going to show you how to change the filter. It's quite easy, but also a little bit tricky on the Mustang, but still very easy. Let's go close. The filter is located here, and this whole unit here is the intake. And as you see, there's a pipe or a hose that goes all the way from the intake, what is that called, manifold, to the filter. And in this area you kind of have the mass airflow sensor and stuff like that. So honestly, I don't really see a huge point of putting a new pipe here just to add another filter here on the top, because I still need to do something with this, and the end result would be pretty similar. So I thought the better way to go is to put a better filter there. So in order to get the filter out, you could start by unclip this connector and the connector over here. It's not really necessary, I just do it anyway, because it's give you some more space to work on. And unclamp these clamps, and that's basically all there is to it. The filter comes out and the old filter goes down, and you can kind of see there is quite a difference between them. So it's going to be interesting to see how it works. It's also going to be interesting to see if it fits. And I could already see now that, well, it's bigger. I hope it will fit. Otherwise, I think I need to modify it a little bit. Yeah, I think we have to modify a little bit. Well, that's how it is. It's not a hard modification. I'm just going to cut it here and cut it there. This is a little bit annoying. You buy something that's supposed to fit and it doesn't fit. But I think I can make it fit. So you clearly see the difference between the two filters here. And what I'm going to do now is that I'm simply going to cut the rubber on this air filter around, and I'm going to use the old air filter as a template. I feel pretty confident that the specification said that this should fit on my V6, but well, maybe I clicked it wrong, maybe I misread. So I will let you know about that in the editing if it was the correct one. Anyway, I'm just going to use a razor blade to cut it out. Okay, so I made a cut around here, and now we're going to find out if I could make it fit. Now it's going to be interesting to see if it will fit properly. It's still a little bit tight to get down, but I can kind of press it down here, so that would work out. And now we're gonna see if we could get it on. And it's especially the fitting that so it's on, and the fitting is good. It's solid, it doesn't move around. So I guess the modification worked out pretty good. But the next step is basically just to connect the connectors that you took off, and then you're ready to go. And now I only find one, and no, I found two. There's also like a hook here that you have to like put the filter back into. That should be good enough. Put the connectors back on. And now you're ready to go. And now I'm probably gonna have like 200 to 250 more horsepower in this Mustang. And that's gonna be fun. No, I'm kidding. I don't know how much more power I'm gonna have. Probably 500. I'm still kidding if you didn't know. But anyway, the filter is on. Some of you might have seen the other video where I had a hose that broke off when I was driving, and that hose was a coolant hose, so I kind of like got coolant everywhere, and I had to leave the car on a parking lot, and then I had to go back and pick it up and do a repair on the field, which involved like putting a new hose on and doing some hacks with the old pipe and then fill up the coolant. I got some coolant in the system, but I felt like I didn't did it properly. So I felt there's probably still some air, and I should probably address that issue. So instead of changing the brake rotors as I supposed to have done today, I decided to address that issue. And the reason for that was because I didn't find the socket that I need to get the wheels off. And I would probably not find some other sockets as well, because my garage is ridiculously messy now. I really have to clean it. So this is probably the last thing I'm going to do on the Mustang before I clean it. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do now and tell you about that. And then I'm going to show you in film, but the engine is going to be on, so it's going to be difficult for you to hear what I'm saying. And when that is done, I also going to go for a drive and give you my impressions and my thoughts about the new filter that I just put in. So what I'm going to start with is to top off this one, the reservoir. And I also opened up the bleed nipple that is located here. And I'm going to pull some coolant down in the bleed nipple to fill it up from that direction. And then I'm going to fill up the reservoir. And I'm going to fill up the radiator as well. Then I'm going to turn the engine on, and I'm going to let it run, and I'm going to let it be warm. And this one is topped off, and it bubbles over on the bleed nipple. And to top it off, I'm using green coolant. But you should read your manual and also read on the package. Don't go for only the color, because the color is not everything, especially not here in Sweden. It might be different in other places. You should actually read what's inside and make sure that what's inside works with your engine. As I start the engine, I will also keep an eye on what actually happens around here. So now I'm going to start the engine, and then I'm going to go out to check and see what's happening around here. Fuck. I guess that was not the bleed part. Well, you learn something. Trial and error. I'm gonna go over it with some compressed air, blow off the water. Most of the water is gone, so now it's time to fill it up into the radiator and into the reservoir. And now I'm going to start the engine, and I'm going to turn the heat on to maximum with the air condition on. That is going to open up the heater core, and the coolant going to circulate into the whole cooling system. And I'm going to run the engine warm, and I have the radiator cap off. And I'm going to push the hoses in order to get the bubbles to come out. And then I'm going to fill up with the coolant as it sinks down. And that's how I'm going to bleed the system. I'm still doing this as I have done on the Jeep in the past. I know that that's the way to do it on a Jeep and that kind of engine. And I kind of imagine that it's similar here in many ways, but in some ways it's not the same as you just saw. So take this video as learning and definitely as entertainment to see what I'm doing, and don't do the same literally, because, well, then you have a wet engine. So now I'm going to start it up. Since my engine is wet, there's going to be some smoke, but it's probably going to dry out, so I'm not too worried. I'm topping it off with coolant, and you see it kind of bubbles here. Push the hoses here to help the air to come out. Do the same on the lower. I'm revving the engine a little bit to help it cool up quicker. And as you see now, there's some steam coming out since the engine is getting warm. Well, what could I say? That turned out to quite an adventure. If you don't try new things, you don't learn stuff. Trial and error, I suppose. I worked with a funnel, and I actually took a bigger funnel because as the engine warmed up and I revved the engine, coolant kind of are pushed out, and then I guess when the thermostat is opened, the coolant goes down. So you kind of need an amount in the funnel to get it out, or to have a proper level to get the coolant into the system in the engine. And if I'm like feeling around on the hoses and stuff like that, they are filled with water now, and there's a proper amount. And I'm gonna let the car and to cool down now, and then I'm gonna take it for a ride and see how it acts. I'm pretty confident that it's all fine. but I want to take a ride to just make sure that everything is okay. And well, the mess in my garage, it got bigger at least. I'm gonna come back and give you my thoughts about the drive when it comes to the air filter. This whole episode turned out to be much more than just installing an air filter. And if you liked what you saw, click thumbs up. If you thought I did a terrible job, which I kind of agree with, click thumbs up as well. Anyway, I hope the video is entertaining you, because that is part of what this channel is about. It's entertainment and to inspire and, well, a lot of stuff. So today it didn't work out as I thought it would do. That's how it is. So I'll be back in the car when I'm driving, and then I'm gonna give you my thoughts. We are in the Mustang now, and it's time to try it out for two purposes: to see how the new air filter feels, if I notice any difference, and secondly, see if I manage to repair my mess that I did. So it's going to be interesting to see if we're going to walk home or if we could actually drive home. But I feel pretty confident that we could actually drive home. But we will see. So far, so good. When I'm doing this drive, I'm going to keep an eye on the temperature sensor and the temperature of the coolant. If it runs abnormally high, then you should stop. Then I have to stop the car and have a look and see what's going on. And I also have a mission with this drive. I'm gonna play a delivery boy because today I got a package from the worst postal service in the world, which is the Swedish postal service called PostNord. They are the worst company in the world, and I could actually say there's only one thing I actually hate, and that is PostNord, because they are not doing a good job. I don't blame the people personally who is working there. I blame the company, because the company should provide the people who work there with the right things or resources or systems or whatever. The company should provide their workers with the right tools to do it proper work, and it doesn't seem like PostNord doing that. But well, that's everything about PostNord. The car drives as it should, as it seems now, and I haven't really thought about how the new filter feels and sounds, and because I have to start to just make sure that the coolant and all those things are just working as they should. After this roundabout, I'm gonna give it some acceleration, and I'm gonna see if there's any noticeable difference in the sound. I don't know, maybe not. It's hard to tell. I think in order to tell, you kind of need to have a comparison. You need like before and after. When it comes to the performance, yeah, it's also hard to tell. I mean, this is not a fast car in any way. It's a V6 engine, and it has like 147 horsepowers, I think. Horsepowers, can you say horsepowers? Maybe you could. Anyway, so it's not, and it's 25 years old, and probably would feel good from a tune-up or something like that. I'm not sure when the spark plugs and stuff like that was changed. But anyway, point is, it's not a fast car, so you can't really expect the performance to be a big difference when it comes to a car like this. So if you think about it, was it worth paying 800 crowns for that filter? Maybe not, maybe it was. I think what talks for the filter is that you could actually clean it. So by cleaning the filter, you could it would last longer for you. So that's how you kind of can motivate the extra price for that filter. Now we're standing still, and I'm gonna do like an acceleration test. Still the same thing. It's very difficult to mentally say, oh, I noticed this difference, because there is no noticeable difference as you can feel. Maybe if I would connect the OBD2 and making some 0 to 100 runs and stuff like that, maybe there would be some small difference, but well, conclusion is there's no noticeable difference. But at least there's a new and fresh filter in the car, and that's always a good thing. Hopefully this filter will last for a long time, since I could clean it up. So after like 3 changes compared to like a better stock one, you kind of like earn back your money. But then of course you have to buy a special cleaning agent and stuff like that to clean, decay and filter. And when it comes to my adventure with the coolant, it seems like it's running in normal operating temperature. There's nothing wrong with it. So that worked out pretty good as well. I hope you enjoyed the video today. I hope you learned something, both of what you can do and what you should not do. I hope it was entertaining, and I hope you want to see more. And if you want to see more, you could click over here to see the full playlist related to the Mustang. And if you want to get notified and know when I release new videos, click down here, or like here somewhere, to subscribe to my channel. I release new videos once a week, and if you want to be notified of a new video, click the bell below and you will get a notification in your phone or wherever you're looking whenever I release a new video. Thanks for watching, and I see you soon.